Hi guys! On this video, I will walk you through how I created this realistic frayed denim effect. First, I created a layer, chose a basic paintbrush, and drew my basic shape in a tonal color to the background, as this will become the shadow layer later. Next, I added a frayed edge using one of the brushes from my set. They are super affordable and available on my Etsy shop and website. Once I've added the frayed edge, I duplicate the layer and switch the color of the new layer to white. Then I create a new empty layer on top. Tap on the layer to open the layer tools and select clipping mask. On this layer, I'll be adding my denim fabric texture. And yes, you can purchase my denim texture brushes as well using the links below. Now, we are going to open the eraser brush options and select the same frayed effect brush we used earlier. And we are going to start deleting the torn edge of the denim texture layer we just painted. These brushes are pressure sensitive, so I first reduce the size of the brush and start with the tips of the threads for a more natural effect. I like using the frayed edge brush number 5 as an eraser, and it's the same brush I will use on the next two fabrics, but you can test out other brushes and see how you like the results. Then I adjust the size again, but this time I also lower the opacity to about halfway. And I softly work my way in until I am happy with the results. For this illustration, I erased just to the base of the threads, but for a more distressed look, you can erase further in. Since the edge is looking a little dull color-wise, I duplicated the white layer to add more opacity. Next, I selected the brown shape layer, tapped on the magic wand at the top left corner, and scrolled down to Gaussian blur. This will create a drop shadow effect. Since it looked a bit dirty for my taste, I opened the layer options by tapping on the letter N and lowered the opacity. And I also lowered the opacity on the bottom white layer as it looked too bright after adjusting the brown drop shadows. Now let's move on to the next denim illustration. It's pretty much the same steps, but based on the frayed edge, I'll be playing with the layers and opacity slightly differently. So, add a layer and use a basic brush to paint your main shape. On this case, I chose blue, as this layer will become the shadow for the next fabric, and I like keeping shadows tonal to either the object or the immediate background color. Next, add the frayed edge. I use number 19, which is a bit longer and fuller, and duplicate the layer. I felt the blue I chose for my shadow was too light, so I switched it to navy. Now switch the duplicate layer to white. And add a new empty layer on top that will become your clipping mask for the fabric texture. Here I chose a ring spun denim texture in a dark gray tone. Remember that once your texture is in place, you can switch the colors of the denim by dragging and dropping another option from the swatch section. Next, we are going to work on the frayed edge by erasing the fabric texture layer that's over the threads. Go to the eraser library and choose a brush that you like best. It can be any brush you think will work best for the results you are going for. I chose frayed edge number 5 again because it gives an irregular line that looks natural. Once again, I start at the tip of the threads, and then adjust the size of the eraser and work my way in. And then lower the opacity, increase the size, and continue erasing in an irregular pattern until I am happy with the results. Now let's work on the drop shadow. Select the original shape layer, that's in color navy. Go to the magic wand, select Gaussian blur, and slide your Apple Pencil across the screen to adjust. Let's repeat the process one more time with a different frayed edge brush. Add a new layer, choose a basic brush, and draw your base shape, and then add your frayed edge. This time I chose Frayed Edge Brush 22. Next, duplicate the layer and change the color of the original shape layer to a tonal shade that will make a good drop shadow. This time I chose a dark gray. Now switch the duplicate layer to white. Add a layer on top and create a clipping mask to add the fabric texture. Select your fabric brush and color and paint. And last but not least, choose an eraser brush and delete the area over the threads from the fabric texture you just painted. And don't forget to use Gaussian blur to adjust the drop shadow layer. And that's a wrap! Thank you for watching, and please like and follow for more. See you on the next video.